Hello, my name's Chris Davis, Managing Director of Engage Insight, and this is the second of 5 webinars focusing on Model Office, the RegTech and Business Development diagnostic platform that really benchmarks your compliance journey and your professional development against our benchmarks. And really the key that we're focusing on today is your engagement, which is really about understanding how you're engaging with your clients on an ongoing basis, meeting all the regulatory needs for suitability and obviously appropriateness of products to meet your client needs, and also understanding stakeholders who are involved in the business and how you're engaging those stakeholders. And they can be the clients, they can be people involved in the business, but also the regulator are involved in that as well. The first thing to point out here is it really is in essence looking at how you've built your brand, and how you've built the engagement based around your client needs. And from a marketing perspective, we're really focused here on have you got a documented marketing plan in place, which really is budgeted and outlines all the marketing efforts needed to be carried out over a set period in time and allocate the resources accordingly. So if you're doing, for example, a lot of seminar work or conferencing work, how is that? How is the strategy put in play? Who are you going to invite? How are you going to track the success and the return on investment for each initiative, and making sure that this marketing plan is costed effectively on an ongoing basis. The key area with all of this, whether it's marketing, client communications, and as you can see from the business functions there, it really is all about marrying up to your client needs. And what we need to ensure is that your business proposition, what Model Office will do is measure how well you're aligning with client expectations, how simple and clear and transparent is your message, how efficient is your business proposition is, and your engagement proposition is, and are you actually delivering on what you're promising. And the next key that we'll talk about, key 3, is all about your client service proposition and your client investment proposition in that particular area. Commitment and consistency is very important to understanding how you're building trust with your clients and how you're being advocacy and referral basis with your clients, and making sure that all your services are really tailored to your clients. So we're very interested there in client segmentation, for example, and obviously making sure that you're offering a fair price for your services, because that's where the value is for your clients. One of the key areas that a lot of firms are now beginning to focus on a Model Office test for is how automated is your marketing program. Have you got a system or a technology that monitors campaigns, newsletters, click-through rates on engagement, to really mine that data to understand the type of relationships that you're building with your clients and what your clients' needs are and what their emotional and behavioral needs are, looking at their propensities to buy certain products or their sensitivities, if you like, to costs and charges. Quick wins that we've seen our clients do very well with, which have been factored in to Model Office, are things like ebooks, highly targeted engagement strategy to certain sectors of their client base, looking at the online financial health check service, for example, which is something the Financial Advice Market Review focused on. And also you can encourage clients to self-score, take an attitude to risk assessment profile on your website, for example, which again will heighten the experience. The other thing to mention as well is that there's all sorts of technology out there. We're interested in what type of technology that you've employed with your business, and from this point of view, it really is looking at how well that technology can measure your key outputs and your success rates and your engagement with your target market or your ongoing engagement with your own clients. Looking at it from a mobile point of view, what type of mobile technology that you're using, lead generation. This could also apply to existing clients as well, how you're nurturing the existing clients' relationships, looking at your CRM system, for example. Looking at search engine optimization on your website is key. Social media data is important, and really we're interested there not only just in the data that you're getting from social media, but also does your social media plan meet the FCA guidance risk warnings and required statements that they need. And finally, but not least, key areas are around blogging. For example, how targeted your blogs, how good is the content, how often are you doing it, is all monitored by Model Office. We've also got key issues around how you're nurturing campaigns, and if you're using auto marketing campaigns to really nurture your clients going forward. Your clients will always be interested in very timely and valuable content, which adds value to their ongoing journey, their experience. So we're very interested here in for example, the digital framework that you've put together for to support the client journey, and how you're monitoring that, and learning more about what your client needs are, which you can do through understanding a bit more about what they're interested in. Another key area that is very important now is video. Streaming video on websites. People buy people at the end of the day, and that's very important because the content that you create there will engage clients, and you can monitor how engaged they are with the particular videos that you're putting up, and the messages that you're putting out, and then you can tailor services accordingly on an ongoing basis. Because from that point of view, it's very important to take a look at client segmentation, and this is obviously crucial to MiFID II that's coming through in more ways than one, but also with suitability of service and advice is also crucial. And what the industry tends to do is really focus on areas around looking at revenue value, demographics, rather than focus on what we think is important, or just as important, which is the client behaviors, their emotions that are attached to the services and the products that you're offering. So for example, we focus a lot on lifetime value, and Model Office will monitor this and take a look at how your future cash flows, taking off the service costs of managing any particular tier of client segment that you're servicing. And then what you can do is focus on the loyalty score of that particular segment to see how sticky those relationships are, and how your clients are, how likely it is your clients are going to stick with you through thick and thin. And that's a very valuable proposition for a business as you go forward. So client segmentation strategy, is looking at, how you've accurately grouped your clients into similar segments, and it's used for tailored marketing, communications, and client servicing on an ongoing basis. We're also interested in key areas around client communications. So Model Office will take a look at your templates and ask questions around record keeping and recording technology that you're using. Another thing to mention as well is that each segment has different needs. So again, Model Office will focus on that and take a look at the groups that you've got, the type of relationships that you're building, because the CRM system, the client relationship management system that you have in your business, normally financial planners, wealth managers are very good, and advisors are very good at the C and the M, the client and the management, but more work can be done around the relationship and understanding what type of relationship you're developing with your clients. And Model Office will certainly test for that. And when we talk about documents and disclosure, this is a big thing at the moment. As you can see from this particular slide, the FCA business plan of 2017-18 came out recently, and that had a particular area around the fact that, as we quoted here, relatively few advisors are transparent about their pricing before they sell advice. So there's a bit of mistrust there, if you like, from the regulators. So what we are big advocates of is making sure that in terms of business that they're being used as marketing documents as well as compliance documents. We're moving businesses away. What Model Office tests for is that you're moving away from just a checklist and a tick box exercise to making sure that you're enhancing client relationships on an ongoing basis. And in this particular case, we've got the tiered investment strategy with the services offered and examples of charges, so clients can really put context around the services that they're beginning to get involved in. The other issue to mention is that we've done a lot of research in the market regarding advisor activity versus what clients value, and we tend to find that doesn't match. So advisors' activity tends to be in and around the fact finding, the building the plans, the ongoing research, selecting products, etc. And the clients are really valuing the ongoing relationship management, the review and ongoing services, the strategies and advice that are put into place. So if that's the case, then advisory firms and wealth management firms and planners should be charging in those particular areas, because that's where clients really see the value. And we're also interested from a digital point of view, from designing a digital client experience framework for the business, the service proposition versus the distribution proposition. And all that means is understanding where clients are really benefiting from the business and what they're seeing offers them maximum amount of value. And they certainly see that the human factor is important, but they also see that building in technology as an enabler system or platform is also important for them to get, so they can get information in a timely, real-time way, if you like, and it makes it easy for them to access services. So there we're interested in, and what Model Office will test for is how you've designed, on-demand services, for example, so clients can initiate, rejoin, or join, or conclude, or comment on their experience. They can go all online. Can they accomplish all their activities online? Do they have a do-it-yourself option? And on the social side is really looking at the digital social media data that's coming through to make sure that you're mining that and that you're heightening the client experience on an ongoing basis. What our research has also shown is that the customer journey is definitely changing, and what they want and need, and what Model Office will test for, is that cyber advice, we call it, where it's blending the technology with the human factor. So they're very keen to take a look at things that are going to make it easy for them to access financial planning, financial advice, wealth management. So virtual assistants are a popular option, e-chat, click to call, and again, there's very few firms that are doing that, if at all, in the marketplace at the moment. But that is certainly what clients are saying to us that they feel that they need, and we factored that in. Model Office will test for those type of issues and provide resources on it. Phone a friend is very important, which is good, because obviously clients do need to speak to someone and want to engage with a human being to gain good quality, high quality advice and planning. So that is very important, whether that be a chartered planner, certified planner, chartered advisor, or a paraplanner. But also automated investment is important. They're seeing that as a big plus, particularly for those clients who want to minimize costs and just put a smaller chunk of their money away on an ongoing basis. And review services are also highly important for them. So making sure that a digital client experience framework is in place is very important. Along with that, Model Office will really touch the base on client documentation, the storage, the structure that you've got in place, knowing your customer, suitability reports, how streamlined they are, how easy it is for the client to understand the information that's in there. Executive summaries can help with that. So Model Office really takes a deep dive into all those key areas. And finally, but not least, Model Office will also produce an engagement action plan for this particular key, which really focuses on the strategy, the tasks, the resources, and who's responsible, and the timescale that you need to put into play to get things done. So it's a resource center as much as it is a diagnostic platform and a RegTech platform. So you can assess where you sit on the client engagement key against the regulatory rules, but also against what your peers are up to, and also what are the key strategies that you can use to make sure that your blind spots and your growth areas and your strengths are played to on an ongoing basis. So thank you very much for your time. And the next key that we'll talk about is your promise, which is key 3. Thank you for your time.